says won't overheat. Rich Dennison, Fox News.
The price of oil is down about 60 cents today. Gas has moved up slightly. AAA's national average is $2.18 a gallon. There's something new on the roads in Pittsburgh. Self-driving cars, Ford Fusions. Starting today, Uber riders who choose to take part in a test program will be in a self-driving car, but an Uber engineer will be at the wheel in case. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, KPNW, at your service, 7:05. How are you? It's a pretty day in store. Sunny and 80, less breezy than the last couple of days. Pretty much 80s throughout and into the weekend with a 50% chance of rain coming up on Saturday night. So, it spares your high school action. And, of course, Ducks are playing on the road, so it doesn't even affect that. It might be just like a total, complete win-win situation because we could use the wet. It's been a while. Lise Wheel coming up, the Fox News legal analyst that makes her Wednesday visit every Wednesday, 7:27. Today, no different. And we'll also get caught up with the Eugene Generals. Did you know Eugene has a hockey team? They do. Did you know they have a rink? We do. I've even skated on the rink. Not trying to brag or anything, but nothing like they skate. We'll talk to the coach and maybe a player or two of the Eugene Generals. Maybe get you a new team now that the Emeralds are done. Maybe you're looking to latch your fanship to another team or organization. The Generals might be that team. We'll find out. 7:40. Traffic-wise, things looking fairly cohesive. I'll just kind of remind you of the situation in case you're going to be taking a stroll down Elkton Way. 6 miles south of Elkton, 138 at milepost 6. The northbound and southbound lanes affected with the shoulder as well with a wildfire. And that's been in place. And hopefully, and like I said before, they're kind of on the downside of that. No way of knowing, but just know that right now that 138 is affected. And by the way, thank you, Nick. I was trying to think of the place that people rave about if you're headed down to Elkton, and that's Arlene's Cafe. Best food. They've been there for years, apparently. So, Nick, thank you for the email. News. What are you working on today? A lot of stuff.
It's a little of this and a little of that this morning. Of course, the big trial starting in Portland. It got started yesterday. Now it begins in earnest with the prosecution making their opening arguments in the case of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge takeover. Also, charges brought against a St. Helens man for the murder of a woman in Eugene. We'll have the details there. We'll take a look at the poll that came out last week on Measure 97. We take a little deeper look at the information that came out on that, where it showed that about 60% of Oregonians were in favor of it. But are they really, once they know what it really does? Those stories and more are coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that. CCB 146906.
True taco facts from Burrito Amigos. Last year, we as Americans chowed down on 4.5 billion tacos. If you laid those tacos end to end, a favorite American pastime, by the way, they'd stretch 490,000 miles, essentially to the moon and back, which is a favorite American measurement of distance. If you took all the tacos folks ate at Burrito Amigos last year, they'd get your round trip from Eugene to Vancouver, unless the traffic was bad and you had to go 205. Then you would only get back to the Brownsville exit. A lot of those tacos were Burrito Amigos Baja fish tacos with real cod, cabbage, cilantro, and Sandy's Secret Baja sauce. A few miles were also Chili Verde soft tacos with pork cooked in spicy green salsa. And you could probably get to Salem with all the yummy tacos Burrito Amigos fans noshed on. Yams, cabbage, beans, pumpkin seeds, and a spicy avocado sauce. They're delicious whether you're a vegetarian or not. Burrito Amigos tacos. They're not just for measuring anymore. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I like my tacos by the yard.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
The one means no matter what the problem.
from security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric. So their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. And for those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. Hey, that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and an exceptional taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Enjoy responsibly. 2016 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, 0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
And a good morning to you. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. The prosecution begins presenting evidence today in the trial of 7 people accused of conspiracy in the takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Brad Ford reports on the opening statements.
The prosecution plans to present its case as 4 chapters: the events and planning that led up to the takeover, then the actual takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, the arrests, and the aftermath. The 7 defendants are trying to separate themselves. The attorney for Ammon Bundy says his client was a peaceful rancher who started the demonstration to protest the arson sentences of Steve and Dwight Hammond, 2 local ranchers who were sentenced to 5 years in prison. The protest turned into a demonstration against government overreach. They'll contend they follow the Constitution. The first person to testify is expected to be Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A 36-year-old St. Helens man has been charged with murder and abusing the corpse of a woman he was dating who was later reported missing last month. Jeremy Malutin was charged yesterday in the death of Cheryl Hart of St. Helens. He appeared in court. He didn't enter any pleas. Prosecutors and investigators say that Cheryl Hart was murdered in Eugene. The Lane County medical examiner said Hart's tattoos were the key in identifying her and that she did die of homicidal violence. Hart's body was found by a family search party over the weekend in a remote and wooded area east of Chiloquin in Klamath County, about 150 miles from where she was last seen. Hart's body was found primarily due to the work of a private investigator from Knoxville, Tennessee, Jamie Frederick. Frederick was visiting family members in Oregon, and they happened to know Hart's family, and so she agreed to take the case on for free. Frederick said she simply followed the timeline and trail of clues left by Malutin that led her to the approximate area where the body was found. During that part of her investigation, she said she received a tip from a Klamath Tribe employee who had seen Malutin's vehicle on Forest Road 44 driving at a high rate of speed near the milepost 9.5. The investigator let family members who were searching for Hart's body know what she discovered. The group then began searching that area. They found the body. A Lane County Circuit Court charging document states Malutin did unlawfully and intentionally cause the death of Cheryl Elizabeth Hart on August 5th. A new report shows there's been an increase in the number of hate and bias crimes in the last year in Eugene. In 2015, there were 59 incidents reported. That's the most in 3 years. The report also showed that crimes were mostly committed against African Americans. Most of those occurrences were in the downtown area and the West University neighborhood. Today, police and community groups will meet to develop ways to stop hate crimes. Well, when the November election arrives, Oregon will have more than 250,000 new voters who may actually take the time to, well, vote. Brad Ford has the details.
Changes to voter registration in Oregon is quickly increasing the number of potential voters in the state. One of the biggest changes is the new motor voter program, where anyone who does business with the DMV automatically becomes a registered voter unless they opt out. Since the program started this year, 232,000 new voters have been sent to counties for processing. That is an increase of nearly 14% over the last year. The Secretary of State's office has also started a new blog and Twitter feed so voters can get future election updates. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Last week we told you about a 60% of Oregon voters supporting Measure 97. That's the corporate sales tax measure on the November ballot. That was according to a poll by the nonpartisan survey firm iCitizen.
For the most part, a majority of Oregonians believe Measure 97 will put money towards critical services, and that's something that they all seem to be very favorable of. So talking about education and healthcare and senior services.
But for all the press about Oregonians wanting the tax, Cynthia Villassis, say polling analyst for iCitizen, says that's not the whole story. You see, the survey indicates that voters' opinions change pretty dramatically when they learn more about the arguments for how the gross receipts tax work and how it will get passed on to them. The poll, like we said, found that about 59% of respondents favored the tax, 21% opposed it. After voters heard arguments against the measure, that support dwindled to 40%. When it comes to whether voters believe big businesses are pulling their weight, though, the survey points to something different.
It largely demonstrated a referendum against Oregon large business. For instance, we asked a question, do you think that Oregon's largest businesses pay their fair share in taxes, and only 19% agreed with that?
The poll was taken from September 2nd to September 7th, and it has a 4% margin of error. Oregon's Grand Ronde Tribe is appealing a decision to allow the Cowlitz Tribe to build a casino in La Center, Washington, to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Grand Ronde Tribe has decided to appeal the decision to the federal high court after the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denied its request on July 29th. Tribal members were informed of the filing decision at an August 31st council meeting. The tribe is contesting a lower court's ruling to allow the Cowlitz Tribe to establish a reservation in Clark County, Washington. The Cowlitz Tribe plans to build a 368,000 square foot casino there. The Grand Ronde Tribe estimates it'll lose 41% of its revenue if the Cowlitz Tribe's casino is permitted to open. Oregon's unemployment rate is on the rise, but so is the number of new jobs in the state. Brad Ford has more.
Oregon's unemployment rate increased from 5.2% in July to 5.4% in August.
That's a little bit higher than it was in July and June, but it's coming off a record low level that we saw earlier in the year.
Nick Belachek with the Oregon Employment Department says it's not uncommon to see unemployment rise during the summer because more people enter the workforce. Over the last year, Oregon added nearly 60,000 jobs.
Oregon's adding jobs at a faster rate than the nation, which means it's really a good, strong labor market condition right now.
The two sectors with the highest number of new jobs are healthcare and leisure and hospitality. Brad Ford, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
A man convicted of lewd acts with a child under the age of 14 has been arrested in Oregon after being on the lam for 23 years. 53-year-old Arturo Rangel is in the Fresno County Jail after spending the last 3 weeks in the Coos County Jail. Officials say Rangel disappeared before he was sentenced in 1993, and he's been a fugitive ever since. Rangel was facing charges of lewd or lascivious acts with a minor under 14 and annoying or molesting a child under 18. Officials say the acts occurred between 1991 and 92. Rangel pleaded guilty to the charges and was scheduled to receive a 7-year prison sentence, but a judge released him on what's called a cruise waiver. That's an agreement that allows a defendant to be released to address personal matters before being sentenced. The defendant agrees that if he or she fails to appear at sentencing, a greater term can be imposed. Well, a bench warrant was issued for Rangel's arrest when he didn't appear for sentencing. It was believed that he fled the U.S., but in July of this year, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office received a tip reporting Rangel to be living in Oregon. A Myrtle Point address was given. Well, September 9th, U.S. Marshals went to the home on Sitcom Lane and found Rangel. They arrested him, they booked him into the Coos County Jail, and from there, he's being transported back to Fresno. Authorities say he moved to Fresno after serving a 3-year prison sentence in Oregon for rape in 1986. The trial for a former Gladstone police sergeant charged in his wife's shooting death is set to get underway. Lynn Benton's trial begins today after it was pushed back a day. Benton is charged with aggravated murder in connection with the death of Debbie Higby Benton, who was found dead in her beauty salon in May of 2011. The former sergeant is accused of conspiring with his friend Susan Campbell and her son to kill his wife. Campbell pleaded guilty to fatally shooting Higby Benton in 2012 as part of a plea deal, but a judge vacated the agreement last week. Now she's going to be facing charges of murder. Oregon State University Cascades in Bend is now open as a 4-year school. Brad Ford says it's the result of a lot of years of work and a lot of community support.
OSU Cascades offers 18 undergraduate and graduate degree programs. OSU President Ed Ray says they'll get the official tally on the first class of students this fall.
It's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 1,100 to 1,200.
They want to grow that to between 3,000 and 5,000 students by 2025. While it offers basic programs you'll find at most universities, it also specializes with programs in renewable energy management and hotel and hospitality management.
It speaks very directly to the skills that the expanding diverse economy of Central Oregon needs.
The campus includes a building for classrooms, a dining hall, and a residence hall for 300 students. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
The National Institute of Health wants more than 10,000 kids to participate in a massive decade-long study of their brain development. Yesterday, the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Study started recruiting volunteers, which follow kids from the ages of 9 or 10 into adulthood. Popular Science says researchers will interview the kids, image their brains, and give them behavioral tests. The study hopes to unravel how kids and teenagers are shaped by different experiences, like smoking, getting poor sleep, playing video games, or participating in sports. It's 7:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Eugene Emeralds are Northwest League champions. It took 41 years to get their first outright title, but it's here. The magical season had to end this way. After losing the first game of the playoffs to Hillsborough, the M's would go on to win 4 of the final 5 games. Last night it was a defensive game, 2-1 your final. Could have been a completely different outcome as the Aqua Sox had the bases loaded 2 separate times. Huge, epic defensive stands preserves the win for the M's. Congratulations to Jesus Feliciano, the skipper, and the entire M's organization, NWL champs. Preps first volleyball at Sheldon hands North Met for their first league loss. Grace Nelson, 15 kills for the Irish. 5A Churchill down North Eugene. Sierra Sharms, a huge game. 26 kills for the Lancers. Marist had an easy go with Springfield winning in 3 sets. Girls soccer, Thurston and North Eugene. Churchill and Marist all play the 2 games with no victors, 2 draws. France Pass scored 3 goals in the first half. That's all they needed to beat South Eugene 3-1. And the Marist boys put the chomp down on Churchill 4-0. Former Duck Kyle Long is playing with a torn labrum in his left shoulder. Former Beaver, all 5'6" of Jaquiz Rogers, who was just cut by those same Bears, latching on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're still getting to know Dakota Prukop, the new quarterback with the Ducks. What do the players think of the Montana State transfer? Receiver Devin Allen weighs in.
Obviously, he's been here a little bit longer than Vernon was when he showed up, so he knows the offense pretty well. Has a lot of respect from all the guys, too, so he can command. He has a good commanding presence out there on the field, and he can run the offense pretty well.
Yes, he can. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. On Franklin across from Market of Choice. News time, 7:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're looking at mostly clear skies. Temps from the cool side in the mid to low 40s with light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at highs back in the upper 70s to low 80s with clear skies across the region. That's thanks to high pressure that's still over the Pacific Northwest. It looks to stick there for the next 3 or 4 days, keeping storm systems away with plenty of sunshine. But then as we approach Saturday night into your Sunday, we're looking at big changes. We're tracking a storm system over Alaska at this point. Every time we look at it in the computers, it looks better and better that the storm system's going to dive out of Alaska and move in late Saturday night into your Sunday, bringing mostly cloudy skies and at least a 40% chance of showers. We'll keep an eye on it for you and let you know as the data changes. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
When you need foundation repairs, turn to the foundation experts at Ramjack West. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Serving Oregon and Washington. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. The now famous business guru, Malcolm Forbes, shared this thought. Too many people overvalue what they are not and undervalue what they are. Today is a really good day to take another look in the mirror and revisit that list of strengths and skills you already have. Add it to your list of friends and acquaintances, and now you can avoid that mistake of undervaluing yourself. And you won't need to spend any time feeling sorry for yourself because you aren't as good as somebody else. In fact, you may even be worth more. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
Bill and Tim's is barbecue and a whole lot more.
Bill, barbecue is the very air we breathe.
I know, Tim, but it isn't for everyone all the time. That's why Bill and Tim's expanded menu is a big hit.
True, we don't look like a men's club in here anymore.
Golden mac and cheese balls, Mexican specialty dishes, gourmet salads. What new dish will you be trying today, Tim?
I'm ready to branch out.
Great.
Give me the barbecue bacon cheeseburger.
Tim. Bill and Tim's Barbecue.
Open at 11 daily.
13th and Pearl in Eugene.
That's the sound of savings during Guarantee RV Supercenter's SOS September Overstock Sale. This is Shannon Nill, your low overhead discount dealer at Guarantee RV Supercenters in Junction City. If you want an RV bargain, listen up. Right now, you could save thousands and get the deal of a lifetime. Guarantee's sending out an SOS. We have 400 delayed factory orders arriving this month, and they must be sold before the season ends. We'll help you find the perfect unit and clear out our overstock lots at the same time. All 400 units must go, and no reasonable offer will be refused. Select from SOS price motorhomes, trailers, fifth wheels, and more. New and used available for every budget. Low-cost bank financing is available on your good credit. You can trade in anything for even lower payments. Units are being detailed and inspected by our service department now, so you're ready to hit the road. Make your fast, fair, and friendly deal today at Guarantee RV in Junction City during our SOS September Overstock Sale. Call for details or visit Guarantee.com/SOS.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
And now, more Wake Up Call.
Have no fear.
From the Widmer Brothers Studios.
I'm out of ideas. Anyone?
It's News Radio 1120. KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Thanks for being with us this morning. Hey, look who's here. It's none other than Lise Wheel, Fox News legal analyst and author. And when's the new book coming out, Lise?
The candidate comes out October 4th, which is less than 3 weeks.
Are you excited?
So excited. But the thing is, you can pre-order it now, and it's a lot less expensive. So get it now. And it's going to be a fun book, and just kind of take you away from the craziness that is the real candidate stuff going on.
That sounds like a brilliant idea right there, just as a diversion.
A diversion!
Anyway.
It's about the presidential election, but it's nothing like it, and it'll just take you away from all of this cuckoo Cocoa Puffs that's going on.
All right. So let's get into the legal stuff this morning. So this woman, Brianne Tagliarini, is that how they pronounce it? Tagliarini? That's the way I look at it.
Tagliarini. Yeah,
okay, she's 35 years old, and essentially she was pregnant. She was married, and then her husband became estranged, and then she's able to legally bar the guy from attending the birth, which is, I guess, the first time this has happened in New York. Is this something that has happened elsewhere in the country that you know of?
I don't know. This is the story that I found here in Staten Island. I don't know if it's happened elsewhere. I've never heard of it happening, which doesn't mean it hasn't. But it's pretty unusual, that's for sure. But I get it, because what the judge said pretty much is, look, she really is not, kind of loathes her husband right now. She wants to get a divorce. And she says, her quote is, it basically boils down to, it's not about him, it's about me. I don't feel he should have a right to be in the room when I'm at my most vulnerable state, seeing me in pain and seeing me uncomfortable. He says, well, witnessing his child's birth should be his basic right. I want to be in the living room. But I understand why the judge sides with her, because while she's birthing this child, it's about her body. the child is still in her. It's a medical procedure she's going through with her body to get this child out of her body. Once the child is born and the child is out of her body, well, then it becomes their child, and he has parental rights and responsibilities. Because it's a child that's living and breathing and out of her body, and they both have equal rights and responsibilities. But when she still has that kid and she's birthing it, and a lot of things could go horribly wrong, to be honest, I can understand why she doesn't want the man that she could possibly hates standing over her and seeing all this. And
okay,
she's got enough going on.
Okay, that's the way she feels, but I mean legally, what rights does the father have?
Legally, until that kid is out of her, it's a medical procedure that she's going through, and it's her, it's her body that she's got to take care of. And the judge said, until that kid is born, it's a medical procedure for her, and we got to look out for the mother and the mother's medical well-being. And that if that means that she's medically better off not having him in the room, then for her medical well-being, we're not going to have him in the room.
All right. Let's move on to the next case. And this is more of a general topic. And for folks that followed it, Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, said that right now there are not enough votes on the U.S. Supreme Court to abolish capital punishment. But she says, nonetheless, it appears to be fading away because most states aren't having any executions. I know that here in Oregon, former Governor John Kitzhaber basically said, I'm going to vacate any death penalty because essentially he didn't like it. Where do you see it going? I mean, is this something that is going to be, except in a couple of states, like, for instance, Texas and a couple of others, that, we're going to see it just, as she said, fading away?
That seems to be the trend. I mean, here on the East Coast, neighboring state here, Connecticut abolished the death penalty a couple of years ago. It seems to definitely be the trend, I think for a few reasons. The DNA of old was not very good, and so we've had these very high-profile cases, front-page cases, where you've had death penalty people that were very close to being executed, and then, right before they were, basically, the DNA exonerated them. Rushed to judgment, bad DNA, then, new DNA was taken and exonerated. That all makes our stomach roil when you see that. You also have countries, the medical drug cocktails are not typically made here in the U.S., so you've had foreign countries that say, we're not going to make that medical drug cocktail for you, and so you've had either very difficult to get the drug cocktail or it takes a long time. You also have things where you get the drug cocktail, but it's botched. The execution is botched. You have fewer executors wanting to do it or whatever, and it's botched, and that makes front-page news. So for all those reasons, I think it's just because it is fading away.
Did you? You were a federal prosecutor. Did you ever, put somebody on death row?
No. In fact, when I was interviewed, they asked me, would you have any hesitation by any part of your job? And I said, well, I might have a hesitation working on a death penalty case. And they said, well, don't worry, because we don't have that many death penalty cases here in the federal system. So, and that's true. I mean, it's very hard to get a death penalty case in the federal system.
And I'm curious why you are personally, or were, at least at the time, somewhat opposed to that. I would assume you were opposed to it. It's because I think I am less now opposed to it, because I think, what if that were, someone I loved? And then I think, that's a very different, I probably have a very different position. If someone I loved were, if I were talking about someone I loved that I was dealing with, then what would I say? So you've changed a bit over the years.
Or maybe I've just gotten a lot older and seen a lot more horrific cases.
Yeah.
Just some of these bombing cases and things like that, and things have happened in those years where I've just seen that, and I'm just, oh my gosh, why does that person, why does that person deserve to live? Why? After they've killed all those people.
All right.
So,
We'll leave it at that, Lise. Lise, always a pleasure to have you on the show. You take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Have a great day and rest of your week.
All right, you take care. That's Lise Wheel, Fox News legal analyst, joining us on the Wake Up Call, as usual, on a Wednesday. It is 7:34, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Bayer agreed to buy Monsanto in a deal valued at $66 billion, creating the world's biggest supplier of seeds and pesticides. Falling crop prices and a quest for greater efficiency have triggered a cascade of deals in the agriculture space over the past year. Stocks are moving higher this morning as a result. Golf clothing and equipment retailer Golfsmith filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on a slide in the sport's popularity. The golf industry hasn't recovered since Tiger Woods dominated the sport and attracted hordes of new fans. Wells Fargo lost its position as the world's most valuable bank to J.P. Morgan. Its share price has been hit by revelations that employees opened more than 2 million accounts without clients' approval. UPS plans to hire about 95,000 seasonal workers this year to help with the annual holiday rush, about the same as a year ago. The package delivery giant will mostly add package handlers, drivers, and drivers' helpers ahead of its busiest season. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Sherry's Intrepid reporter live outside a local Sherry's. Excuse me, madam, did you know that Sherry's has been awarded 14 gold medals at this year's National Pie Championship?
Well, who doesn't like gold?
And today you can try a slice of Sherry's classic gold medal favorites for free.
Gold and free? Impossible.
Choose from champions like Chocolate Cream Supreme and Oregon Marionberry.
Oregon Marionberry? That's Lord Bentley's favorite.
Your husband?
No, Lord Bentley.
Ooh, I see. Free Pie Wednesdays today from 4 to 10 p.m. only at Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Fresh, local, delicious.
Built for business. Waiting. No one enjoys it. With Comcast Business, you can do less of it. Because Comcast Business Internet is up to 5 times faster than DSL from the phone company, which means less waiting for things like security backups and file downloads. Plus, it's a better value when you select the fastest plan. So do what nearly 1,000 businesses do every day and choose Comcast Business. Unless you'd prefer to wait. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add 1 voice line and TV for just $34.90 a month for 2 years. And ask about their low price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. That's 800-501-6000. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 10/31/16. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Moving Wall is coming to Eugene's Skinner Butte Park September 29th through October 2nd. This 1/2 size replica will be on display for 4 days only along the Riverwalk. The opening ceremonies begin at 12 noon on Thursday, September 29th, featuring local dignitaries, Color Guard, Honors Team, the Oregon National Guard Marching Band, and a flyover from the Oregon Air National Guard. Come experience the Moving Wall, beginning September 29th, presented by the Eugene chapter of the Military Officers Association of America.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/go and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/go.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at RamjackWest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, conditions on the cooler side. Temps right now in the mid to low 40s. Light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 under clear skies. Light haze from a couple of wildfires. As we move into the afternoon hours, we're looking at mostly sunny skies dominating once again. High pressure still in control over the region, but we are starting to see changes in the weather pattern. Now we will reach highs into the upper 70s to a few low 80s out there, and the sunshine will last for the next few days. But starting Saturday night into Sunday, we're tracking a massive storm system over Alaska, and the data suggests it may be headed this way. We're going to keep a close eye on it for you. At this point, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies Sunday with a 40% chance at showers. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
The Wake Up Call. Wake Up Call. On 1120. KPNW.
All right, 7:39, 21 away from 8 o'clock. News Radio 1120 KPNW with sunny conditions, a beautiful day to start everything out, 48 degrees. The Eugene Generals, our neighborhood hockey team, has just moved up to the Premier Hockey League. They kick off their 2016-2017 season Friday night against the arch rival Tri-City Outlaws. That's going to be over there at the rink. In to talk about this weekend and the team in general, it's the head coach Justin Kern and team captain Logan Sanders from Alaska down here cranking up and getting geared up. How long, by the way, welcome in, because I don't think we've had you guys in the studio before.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us. We're really happy to just be out here and talk with anyone we can about the upcoming games and the season here. We're really excited.
How early is this for you? Because I know hockey players, and would you guys be up normally at this hour?
Definitely not. I would be sleeping. I would definitely be sleeping. And actually, he's lying a little bit right now, because I don't know if he's used to our schedule that we've already done for 3 weeks, but we practice from 7:30 to 9 in the morning every morning. So he's getting a little forgetful in his old age there as team captain.
19.
I don't know who I'm to saying believe. in the off season, I would be asleep.
Okay. So we were talking off the air. You're from Wasilla, Alaska, and you were a high school hockey player. And I had commented because many years ago when my brother lived up in Nenana, which was in Alaska, he took me to a high school hockey game, and holy cow, you want to talk about rowdy crowd at a high school game. I've never seen anything like it before. Is it still that way? I mean, like, when you have a rival in, is that place just absolutely rocking with screaming fans?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, one of the oldest local rinks is called Brett Memorial Ice Arena, and like that place will, like, playing a rival team, it'll be packed, like just 4 or 5 rows thick, like packed around the glass, just people cheering like
screaming
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
So do they still sell beer at the high school arenas? Because they did then when I was up there.
Not anymore. I think they did away with that.
Yeah.
What is it like? I mean, if you're a hockey athlete in high school, what is it like? I know in Minnesota, you walk around and like in other high schools, the football players do with the Letterman's jackets and like, oh, there's hockey team. Is it like that in Alaska?
I don't know. At the school I went to, it was kind of difficult because like the rink was so much further away than any other school. But I don't know, it was definitely pretty cool being an athlete. Like everyone kind of knows you by reputation as one of the hockey players. But
that's cool.
And then how do you find out? How do you link up with the Eugene Generals? How's that recruiting thing?
Actually, one of my good friends I've known for a while. He's not coming back this year, but Buddy Dale, the previous captain of the team, he kind of recruited me. I was all set up and ready to go to college, and he was like, hey, you should come play. And then my mom was like, you can only play hockey for so long. I mean,
so your mom actually discouraged college?
Yeah, she discouraged college, encouraged me to play hockey, said, I don't want you to wake up when you're 25 and wish you would have played more hockey. So definitely happy with that decision.
So, go Mom.
Yeah, right?
On that note, to talk about the college part, a lot of people don't understand how college hockey works for a lot of the athletes out there, but typically a freshman hockey player is going to be about 20 or 21 years old, because most athletes at that level will play some form of juniors. So like our goal with a player like Logan here is, he's taken 2 years off from college, But after he plays juniors, we're hoping he's a better athlete, more developed athlete, and at that point, ready to go on to either an NCAA program or an ACHA program and be that mature person who's ready to play at that level.
I want to ask you a question about that. How many schools actually around the country, and I'm talking colleges, actually have a hockey program? I mean, are there a lot of them? Is it mostly in the Midwest?
There is a lot. But there's the different levels. So at the NCAA Division I level, I believe there's 60 schools.
Wow.
And that's where it gets crazy. And that's where I try to stress to kids grades, because, if you have bad grades, you're going to eliminate the Ivy League schools right away. So every team you eliminate from your opportunity pool there is going to hurt you. But so at the NCAA, there's about 60 something, and then Division III, there's probably another. I think there's like another 60 or 70, and then you get onto like the ACHA club programs, and there's plenty of opportunity. The Oregon Ducks have an ACHA team here in town as well. So there's lots of opportunities for that. But our goal, we want our guys to try to shoot for NCAA, and then we'll go from there. But we want all our guys to pursue school at the end of the day and just keep playing hockey as long as they can.
Justin Kern, by the way, coach with the Generals, the local hockey team, and Logan Sanders, the team captain. So if we had to ask you, on the air and kind of pin you against the wall, what is your goal after 2 years with the Generals?
Honestly, at this point, I'm just doing it for fun. I've played hockey as long as I can remember, and just waking up every morning like, all right, what time am I on the ice today? It's just, I couldn't imagine after high school just hanging up the skates. Just wasn't ready, wasn't time yet.
You don't have any career aspirations after?
Not as much. Obviously that'd be great, but it's not like a big huge life goal. It's just what I love to do and want to keep doing it. Kind of thing.
Fair enough. Do they get? That was the other question I wanted to ask, dealing with the NCAA. As part of being a junior hockey player, do they get paid at all to do this?
So definitely not at our level. We are NCAA compliant. There's some Canadian leagues. They're called major juniors who do pay their players. They lose eligibility when they do that, but all of USA Hockey and the junior structure under USA Hockey is all NCAA compliant. So some of them are pay-to-play leagues. So for instance, our players pay to play here, and we give them more than their value with the 4 practices a week, 42 games, 2 showcases, 1 in Boston, 1 in Chicago, the free gear and all stuff like that. So it costs money to play here, but we're trying to develop them and give them the best experience possible.
So it's as much a school as it is a hockey team. What I'm hearing here is this is like, this is your junior college for hockey.
We'd like to think so, and I'll tell you from my experience personally, I actually played for the Generals in our inaugural season back in 2005, and I'm a kid from Alaska, just like Logan, who came out of high school. I had a great time playing high school hockey, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I came and played for the Generals, and I really feel like they helped me mature and become an adult and be ready to go to school, where if I would have just gone after high school, who knows what would have happened. I know I wasn't as focused as I was after juniors. So we like to think that, we're helping the guys become better hockey players and then better students and better people, over the whole, course of their career here.
So what you do as far as what you do, do you provide them with, because I'm thinking about compensation, with the lack of compensation, you have to think about jobs and having them kind of go off and earn their keep or find some way to get money. Do you guys provide jobs, or do you say?
We don't provide jobs, but we do point kids in the right direction. We're going on our 12th year here in Eugene as a team, and so over the 12 years here, we've built a lot of connections, and we know a lot of people in town. And there's every kid who's ever come here wanting a job winds up finding one that's usually a good fit. We have a pretty difficult schedule to work with, being that the guys can't work weekends because we'll be away for games, and then we practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 7:30 to 9. So it takes a unique job opportunity to fit that schedule, but the kids have been pretty successful at finding those jobs. And some guys, through the grace of their parents, they get the opportunity to play here without having to look for a job, and they just concentrate on the hockey part. And both ways are very effective, and we make it work for both types of players. But it's try to give them the best experience possible with that.
So what do you? Go ahead, Rob.
Talk about the whole, because I'm curious about the level of competition. You guys have just moved up a league, and I'm curious, for one thing, what it took to do that and what it's going to bring as far as your competition that's going to be coming your way. Because looking at the schedule, you guys are traveling all over.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as level of play, we're really excited. We feel like this is definitely a step up for us. Our fans will see some faces they're familiar with within our local play here. For this year being, we're going to be playing some of the teams we played in the past because we kind of moved up as a division into the league. So we'll be still playing the Seattle Ravens, the Tri-City Outlaws, and the West Sound Warriors, but where we're going to see that advanced level of play, and what we're hoping to, bring what we have is when we go to these showcases. So this year in November, we'll be going to Boston for a showcase where we're going to be playing some big, Boston teams or, East Coast teams that it's going to be a different experience. We're a young, fast team this year, and we're going to be playing some older, heavier teams, with a little bit more physicality. So we're going to have to find ways to use our speed as our strength, And then on top of that, we'll have another showcase in Chicago where, again, we're going to be playing these Midwest teams, those big boys out there eating a lot of corn and stuff like that. But we're just hoping to, bring our style of play, show what we're doing with our players, and bring that on the bigger scale. And then the years to come, we're hoping to add more opportunities like that where we get to play more of the Midwest and the South divisions and East divisions, because it's a countrywide league. But this year we'll play. We'll see some familiar faces within our local play here, but then get a chance to shine on the larger scale out there.
We were talking off the air, and we were talking about the off season, and you said that's when you really started to work. What is the off season like for you as a coach? I mean, are you looking at tape, looking for certain players, and trying to recruit those players to come to Eugene?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely not off. People talk to me about, you're a hockey coach, you get the whole off season off, and that like I said, that's the only time I'm working. During the winter, I'm just coaching practices, coaching games, and that's fun. I don't count that as work. But yeah, in the off season, I'm traveling once a month, sometimes more, to different showcases, different hockey events with USA Hockey, and I'm calling coaches constantly, emailing coaches. It's a business that we have to recruit for. We have to recruit the players to come here. Right? We have players from Alaska. We have a player from Italy. In the past, we've had players from New York. I mean, we get them all over the country. And the off season, I said that's the only. My wife laughs at me because she says the only time I get stressed is that time right before the season starts, because I'm trying to get the last couple pieces of the team in. And you're talking to kids a lot, so kids can be a little wishy-washy sometimes. So they might tell you, "Yeah, coach, I'll be there tomorrow," and then the next day they might be going somewhere else.
Was this kid sitting here next to us, was he wishy-washy?
Absolutely not. And that's one thing that, Logan's always been a straightforward kid, and he, we talked a little bit last year. I talked with his mom, Katie, a couple times last year. He said he's coming, and he showed up on day one. No problems.
Justin,
there.
talk about, because it's pretty interesting, you were talking off the air about your goals compared to other coaches that are coaching at this level that might be wanting to kind of move up the ladder. What's your situation?
Yeah, so my goals are a little different. You talk to some junior hockey coaches and who are at those. So we're at the Tier 3 level now, and a lot of the coaches be like, I want to coach at the Tier 2, I want to coach at the Tier 1 level. And for me, I'm really happy in Eugene, Oregon. I want to build the hockey community here in Eugene, Oregon. I want to be able to take 5 to 6 kids every year and just bring them up into the generals program instead of having to go all over the country. And then on top of that, we do a lot of work with USA Hockey, and for me, that's kind of one of my goals. I just want to keep moving up within the USA Hockey ranks and be able to be a part of some of the international teams or just the international team selection process. Our general manager just got back from the Five Nations tournament where he was a team leader with them, and they won the gold medal at the 16s level. And so that's a big deal to us. And that's one of our goals is, we want to help grow hockey in the Eugene community as well as the nation and just be a part of that USA Hockey brand.
You're always going to have a core group of people that are going to be fans just because they're hockey fans. How do you go about growing a sport like hockey, which, I mean, in all honesty, folks on the West Coast are not that familiar with? I mean, how do you go about trying to grow that audience and put those butts in the seats?
A lot of it starts with the younger kids. I'm a big football fan, but their registration has declined over the last couple of years, and so that's an opportunity for us to get out there and grab some of these younger kids, get them involved. We do a lot of free to play hockey at the earliest levels to try to get kids in, and through that, the kids become fans of the game, their parents become fans of the game. Other than that, I mean, we're out in the community doing stuff, trying to get people excited for the team. Just this last week, we were at the Arc of Lane for a carnival for the children that they help. The underprivileged kids that they help, raise up a little bit, and we were helping at the carnival, and it was just a great experience seeing the smiles on the kids' faces and the smile on our team's faces as they're helping the kids run this carnival with slides and some basketball hoop stuff, and the dunk tank was a big hit. The kids love dunking our players in the water for some reason, but yeah, we want to build the player base or the fan base through stuff like that. We're out in the community; they see that we're a part of Eugene. We're not just these from all over kids. We've been here for 12 years, and we care about Eugene, and we want Eugene and the Springfield area to really support us as we support them.
What's your connection to the Generals? The connection to the Eugene Generals? What I was curious, what, as far as the Generals, usually there's some kind of local...
Yeah, so 12 years ago they were looking for a good name, and I mean they tried all the different, Eugene trees, Eugene Rain, and they're looking at all the different names that they could go with stuff, right? And that's a good question for my general manager and our team owner Ken Evans, but they settled on Eugene Generals. They liked the way it sounded, I guess.
Yeah, it's better than the trees. For sure.
Agreed. But yeah, so, and then...
Or the corporals.
The corporals and the colonels.
Okay, so if somebody's going to be checking out a game on Friday or sometime this weekend or sometime in the near future, if they're not a big, huge hockey fan and they're trying to be, one of those, new fans, what is something, and this could be a collective answer, what is something that they should be on the lookout for that you guys would say, okay, a real hockey fan or somebody who even knows the intricate details of the game would know this. Look for this on the ice, or look for something in particular.
I would say the best part to look for is just how excited everyone in our building is to be there.
No.
We're talking about on the ice during the gameplay.
Something that
Yeah, I mean, give somebody something to look for.
I would say look for Logan's slap shot from the point.
Yeah, I like the look on your face.
I could live with that.
Yeah, I like that too. What would you say something to look for?
Just
other than your slap shot from the point.
It's just fun watching a bunch of guys with good chemistry, a bunch of brothers out there working together for a common goal. It's just fun to watch.
All right, we're going to have you guys back, and we're going to work on that answer.
Because neither one of us were satisfied.
He's got a great slap shot.
Okay, well, that was okay.
That was good.
That was
workable.
Yeah. Anyway.
Justin Kern, head coach, and, of course, the team captain, one of the defensemen, Logan Sanders from Alaska, coming down here to play some hockey in Eugene. Thank you, fellas. Go get them. Good luck.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Keep us posted.
Our pleasure.
Coming up on 8 o'clock, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Bill and Tim's is barbecue and a whole lot more.
Bill, barbecue is the very air we breathe.
I know, Tim, but it isn't for everyone all the time. That's why Bill and Tim's expanded menu is a big hit.
True, we don't look like a men's club in here anymore.
Golden mac and cheese balls, Mexican specialty dishes, gourmet salads. What new dish will you be trying today, Tim?
I'm ready to branch out.
Great.
Give me the barbecue bacon cheeseburger.
Tim. Bill and Tim's Barbecue.
Open at 11 daily.
13th and Pearl in Eugene.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3939. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3939.
A home burglary happens every 13 seconds. Ring Video Doorbell has been proven to stop burglaries before they happen by allowing you to see and speak to anyone at your door using your smartphone from anywhere. And now you can build a ring of security around your entire home, adding Ring's wireless weatherproof stick-up cam. With Ring, you'll know anytime anyone steps onto your property. For a limited time, listeners to this station get up to $150 off the Ring of Security kit. Go to ring.com/radio100. That's ring.com/radio100. 1-800.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. And for those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. Hey, that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and an exceptional taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Enjoy responsibly. 2016 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, 0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
A standard electric water heater heats water. A heat pump water heater heats water. A standard electric water heater is built to last. A heat pump water heater is built to last. A standard electric water heater uses energy. A heat pump water heater uses up to 50% less energy, making it a 100% smart choice for your home.
Get more info about saving up to 50% on your electric water heating costs at hotwatersolutionsnw.org.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. More people are dealing with voter issues just before the election because now Georgia is being sued over its voter registration process after other states had issues with their voter ID laws. Fox's Evan Brown has more live.
Yeah, Dave, civil rights groups say Georgia is violating the Voting Rights Act by disallowing voter registration if personal information a voter supplies doesn't match what's already in other state databases. The policy came under review years ago by the U.S. Justice Department, to whom the state said it was a way to prevent voter fraud. This group is now suing in federal court. They claim that while the law allows the checking of information, it does not require canceling one's voter registration, Dave.
Even Hillary Clinton may be taking another day off to recover from pneumonia, but she's planning to return to campaigning tomorrow and next week. The Democrat will go to the UN General Assembly and hold talks with world leaders, including the presidents of Egypt and Ukraine. This as her email scandal continues to follow her, this time in hacked emails from another former Secretary of State wanting her not to make him a scapegoat.
The Intercept has published emails from former Republican Secretary of State Colin Powell. Quote, HRC could have killed this 2 years ago by merely telling everyone honestly what she had done and not tie me to it. Powell also wrote, quote, I told her staff 3 times not to try that gambit. I had to throw a mini tantrum at a Hamptons party to get their attention.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. BuzzFeed got a look at other hacked emails showing Powell calling Donald Trump a disgrace. Trump's taping a show with Dr. Oz. He had said he'd release details of a physical last week. Now the Republicans' campaign says it only talked generally about his health. And there's a new Bloomberg poll.
The battleground state of Ohio that finds him now up 5 points over Hillary Clinton, 48-43. In the Buckeye State, though, there is still a big gender gap between Clinton and Trump, one that Trump is trying to close.
That's Fox's John Roberts. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Runners should take proper precautions such as warming up and stretching to avoid injuries, but no one is immune. Running injuries usually happen when you push yourself too hard or ignore pre-existing conditions. The way your body moves also plays a role. Neurospine Institute's Runners Clinic is conveniently located right here in Tracktown, USA. Their team of professionals can help you avoid common injuries and treat those that already exist. Using specialized diagnostic techniques and software, they will examine your movement patterns and implement a plan of care to improve performance and reduce pain.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg Clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Deputy Secretary of State Blinken has gone to Baghdad, saying Iraqi forces, backed by the U.S.-led coalition, have retaken half the territory ISIS once held in that country. He also announced $181 million to address a humanitarian crisis that continues in Iraq. More people fleeing unrest in their countries will be welcomed into America next year, despite Republican concerns about the screening process. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
After admitting 85,000 refugees last year, the Obama
Obama administration is now setting a goal to take in 110,000 refugees from around the world in the coming year. According to a senior administration official, the large increase in admitted refugees reflects continuing concern about the refugee crisis stemming from Syria's civil war and other conflicts. The Department of Homeland Security says it's vetting refugees from Syria very closely. The president plans to host a summit on refugee issues next week in New York City during the annual UN General Assembly meeting. Dave?
John, the ex-soldier formerly known as Bradley Manning, infamous for leaking government secrets, will now be famous for getting a sex change in prison.
Army Private Chelsea Manning, who's serving a 35-year prison sentence, ended a hunger strike after learning the Army has approved a gender transition procedure. Over the summer, Manning tried to commit suicide, distressed over what she called the military's refusal to provide appropriate medical treatment. The ACLU says no other inmate has ever undergone a gender transition surgery while in prison. The Defense Department has no comment, citing patient confidentiality. Manning was convicted of giving more than 700,000 documents to WikiLeaks. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
An announcement from Ford's CEO this morning that all of the automaker's small car production will be leaving U.S. plants and heading to lower-cost Mexico within the next 2 or 3 years. The Dow is up 39 points. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
(11:20) KPNW, Wednesday, September 14th. Welcome in. Live and local from the Whitmer Brothers studios here, Bi-Coastal Radio Complex here, Eugene, Oregon. We're broadcasting on KPNW to the community and to the world, of course, via the stream. Sunshine today, sunny conditions, less windy than the last couple of days, but still up there, 15 miles per hour. A little breeze, kind of cool things down to a degree. 84 tomorrow. About 85 degrees on the next day, and then 50% chance of rain coming up on Saturday night. Don't forget that I-5 there between milepost 194 and 195.75. They got some construction work going on with congestion during the day, a little bit more activity at night, but they're working on a new bridge and a sound wall. Going to be constructed and completed December 2017, so that could be kind of an ongoing project, as it were. 126, milepost 29, 3 miles east of Vida. We get the westbound lanes affected, or at least one of them. I'm sure there's just one there anyway. Westbound lane affected with a crash. Again, 3 miles east of Vida, milepost 29 on 126. Everything else seems to be working pretty well. A little congested, but we're getting through it on this fine Wednesday. Coming up, we are going to, I think, verse with somebody from the Eugene M's. Apparently not Jesus, because the skipper is on a plane, celebratory plane, but the Eugene M's had a big night last night. We'll talk about that in sports and get to use some news.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up. The Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. The trial begins in earnest today. Yesterday was opening statements. Today, they start calling witnesses, the prosecution does. So we're going to kind of preview that a little bit. Also, a man accused of murdering a woman here in Eugene actually yesterday faced those charges. We'll have the details on that story and how the body of Cheryl Hart was actually found. And it's not in the way that you would normally expect. We'll also take a look at Measure 97 and that poll that everybody was talking about last week. Oh, it's ahead 60 points to 30 points. The thing is sure to pass. Well, there's a little more information that you didn't hear that came out of that particular polling data that shows that people really don't know that much about Measure 97. Those stories and more all ahead here on KPNW.
News time 8:08.
It's back to school time and morning mayhem at its family finest. Well, stop the insanity and treat yourself and the kids to Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Save yourself a little stress and go through the Burrito Amigos drive-thru on West 6th in Eugene or on 42nd Street in Springfield. No fighting over milk, cereal, or the last piece of bacon. Burrito Amigos has great breakfast burritos, like their bacon burritos with 2 types of bacon, or the Machaca burrito, made with real Angus beef. Of course, if your little one or maybe you likes to spice things up, enough, then maybe a chorizo breakfast burrito will kick it up a notch, to steal a phrase. Burrito Amigos drive-thrus also offer espresso for a meal and a mocha while you motor. For little appetites, there's the junior-sized burritos, and for your burgeoning linemen, get them full-size. The kids will love Burrito Amigos as a breakfast treat, and you'll love Burrito Amigos because you didn't have to make anything. I'm Bill London, and as a parent, I endorse Burrito Amigos as an instrument of morning mental health. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/quick. That's ZipRecruiter.com/quick. ZipRecruiter.com/quick.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. The prosecution begins presenting evidence today in the trial of 7 people accused of conspiracy in the takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Brad Ford reports on opening statements.
The prosecution plans to present its case as 4 chapters: the events and planning that led up to the takeover, and the actual takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, the arrests, and the aftermath. The 7 defendants are trying to separate themselves. The attorney for Ammon Bundy says his client was a peaceful rancher who started the demonstration to protest the arson sentences of Steve and Dwight Hammond, 2 local ranchers who were sentenced to 5 years in prison. The protest turned into a demonstration against government overreach. They'll contend they followed the Constitution. The first person to testify is expected to be Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, the Lane County Sheriff's Office has arrested one of its own. Patricia Trocchi, a 17-year employee of the Sheriff's Office, was employed as a senior accounting clerk. She was lodged in the Lane County Jail on aggravated theft in connection with the theft of cash relating to her accounting duties. She was released by Lane County Circuit Court staff on a pre-trial release. She's scheduled to be arraigned on the 27th. The theft was estimated at $60,000, and it was discovered late in the afternoon on September 12th. The investigation of the missing funds led to Trocchi's arrest less than 20 hours after the discovery. They feel that the bulk of the theft occurred in June of this year. The Lane County Sheriff's Office is now hiring an independent auditor to review the sheriff's financials to ensure the discrepancies have been identified. At this point, Trocchi's on unpaid administrative leave. The Sheriff's Office says that it will comply with policies, procedures, and collective bargaining agreements related to Trocchi's employment status. The county does seek full restitution in the case, and it has been deferred to the district attorney's office for prosecution. A 36-year-old St. Helens woman has been charged with murder and abusing the corpse of a woman he was dating who was reported missing last month. Jeremy Malutin was charged yesterday in the death of Cheryl Hart of St. Helens. He appeared in court. He didn't enter any pleas. Prosecutors and investigators say that Cheryl Hart was murdered in Eugene. The Lane County medical examiner said Hart's tattoos were a key to identifying her and that she died of homicidal violence. Hart's body was found by a family search party over the weekend in a remote and wooded area east of Chiloquin in Klamath County, about 150 miles from where she was last seen. Hart's body was found primarily due to the work of a private investigator from Knoxville, Tennessee. Her name is Jamie Frederick. Now, she was visiting family members in Oregon, and they happen to know the Hart family, and they agreed, or she agreed, Frederick did, to take on the case for free.
Frederick said that she simply followed the timeline and trail of clues left by Malooten, and it led her to an approximate area where the body was found. During that part of the investigation, she received a tip from a Klamath Tribe employee who had seen Malooten's vehicle on Forest Road 44 driving at a high rate of speed near the area of milepost 9.5. The investigator then let family members know who were searching for Hart's body, and that group searched the area and eventually found Cheryl Hart. The Lane County Circuit Court charging document says that Malooten did unlawfully and intentionally cause the death of Cheryl Hart on or about August 5th. A new report shows there's been an increase in the number of hate and bias crimes in the last year in Eugene. In 2015, there were 59 incidents reported, most in the last 3 years. The report also shows the crimes were mostly committed against African Americans. Most of those occurrences were in the downtown area and West University neighborhoods. Today, police and community groups are going to meet and try to develop ways to stop hate crimes. When the November election arrives, Oregon will have more than 250,000 new voters who could actually send a ballot in. Brad Ford has the details.
Changes to voter registration in Oregon is quickly increasing the number of potential voters in the state. One of the biggest changes is the new motor voter program, where anyone who does business with the DMV automatically becomes a registered voter unless they opt out. Since the program started this year, 232,000 new voters have been sent to counties for processing. That is an increase of nearly 14% over the last year. The Secretary of State's office has also started a new blog and Twitter feed so voters can get future election updates. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, last week, it was widely reported that 60% of Oregon voters support Measure 97. That's a corporate sales tax measure on the November ballot. That was according to a poll by the nonpartisan survey firm iCitizen.
For the most part, a majority of Oregonians believe Measure 97 will put money towards critical services, and that's something that they all seem to be very favorable of. So talking about education and healthcare and senior services.
But for all the press about Oregonians wanting the tax, Cynthia Valasis, a polling analyst at iCitizen, says that is not the whole story. You see, the surveys indicate that voters' opinions change when they learn more about arguments for how gross receipts tax actually work and how much it's going to cost them. The poll found that approximately 60% of respondents favored the tax and 21% outright opposed it. After voters heard arguments against the measure, that support dwindled to 40%. The opposition increased to over 31%. When it comes to whether voters believe big businesses, though, are pulling their weight, well, not so much.
It largely demonstrated a referendum against Oregon large business. For instance, we asked a question, do you think that Oregon's largest businesses pay their fair share in taxes? And only 19% agreed with that.
The poll was taken between September 2nd and 7th, and they say it has about a 4% margin of error. Oregon's unemployment rate is on the rise, but so is the number of new jobs in the state. Brad Ford has the details.
Oregon's unemployment rate increased from 5.2% in July to 5.4% in August.
That's a little bit higher than it was in July and June, but it's coming off a record low level that we saw earlier in the year.
Nick Belachek with the Oregon Employment Department says it's not uncommon to see unemployment rise during the summer because more people enter the workforce. Over the last year, Oregon added nearly 60,000 jobs.
Oregon's adding jobs at a faster rate than the nation, which means it's really a good, strong labor market condition right now.
The two sectors with the highest number of new jobs are healthcare and leisure and hospitality. Brad Ford, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
A man convicted of lewd acts with a child under the age of 14 has been arrested in Oregon after spending the last 23 years on the lam. 55-year-old Arturo Rangel is in the Fresno County Jail after spending the last 3 weeks in Coos County's jail. Officials said Rangel disappeared before he was sentenced in 1993 and has been a fugitive ever since. Rangel was facing charges of lewd or lascivious acts with a minor under 14 and annoying or molesting a child under 18. Officials say the acts occurred between 1991 and 1992. Now, originally, he pleaded guilty to the charges and was scheduled to receive a 7-year prison sentence, but he was released to address personal matters before sentencing. A bench warrant was then issued for Rangel's arrest when he didn't appear for sentencing. It's believed that he fled the U.S., but then in July of this year, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous tip reporting Rangel was living in Oregon at a Myrtle Point address. On September 9th, U.S. Marshals paid him a visit on Sitcom Lane, and that's where they found him. He was arrested, booked into the Coos County Jail. Now he's in Fresno. Authorities say he moved to Fresno after serving a 3-year prison term in Oregon for rape in 1986. The trial of a former Gladstone police sergeant charged in his wife's shooting death is set to get underway. Lynn Benton's trial begins today after being pushed back. Benton is charged with aggravated murder in the connection with the death of Debbie Higben Benton, who was found dead in her beauty salon 6 years ago. The former sergeant is accused of conspiring with his friend Susan Campbell and her son to kill his wife. Campbell pleaded guilty to fatally shooting Higby Benton in 2012 as part of a plea deal, but a judge vacated that agreement last week. She's now going to be facing charges of murder as well. Oregon State University Cascades in Bend is now open as a 4-year school, and Brad Ford says it's the result of a lot of work and a lot of community support.
OSU Cascades offers 18 undergraduate and graduate degree programs. OSU President Ed Ray says they'll get the official tally on the first class of students this fall.
It's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 1,100 to 1,200.
They want to grow that to between 3,000 and 5,000 students by 2025. While it offers basic programs you'll find at most universities, it also specializes with programs in renewable energy management and hotel and hospitality management.
It speaks very directly to the skills that the expanding diverse economy of Central Oregon needs.
The campus includes a building for classrooms, a dining hall, and a residence hall for 300 students. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
So another story about scientists being bought out to create false studies. A new report says that as early as the 1960s, the sugar industry has been funding research downplaying the role of sugar in heart disease by pointing the finger at fat. The analysis was released Monday by the Journal of the American Medical Association, and it's based on correspondence between a sugar trade group and researchers at Harvard University. Yes, that Harvard. CBS News says in 1964, the group, now known as the Sugar Association, internally discussed a campaign to address negative attitudes towards sugar after studies began emerging linking sugar with heart disease. So the following year, the group approved Project 226. And what did they do? They started paying Harvard researchers about $48,000 for an article reviewing the scientific literature. They supplied the materials they wanted reviewed, and they received drafts of the article. The resulting article, published in 1967, concluded there was no doubt that reducing cholesterol and saturated fat was the only dietary intervention needed to prevent heart disease. Now, all of a sudden, it calls that entire thing into a fraudulent light. The sugar industry's role in funding and shaping research wasn't disclosed when the article was published. The journal did not require disclosures from the researchers until 1984. While scientists are still working to understand the links between diet and heart disease, concern has shifted in recent years to sugars and carbs and away from fat. It's 8:22. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Eugene Adams' baseball team are Northwest League champs. It took 41 years to get another one, their first outright title in that many years, but it's happened. After losing the first game of the playoffs to Hillsborough, the M's would go on to win 4 of the final 5 games. Last night it was a defensive game, 2-1. Your final could have been a completely different outcome as the Aqua Sox loaded the bases 2 separate times. Congratulations to Jesus Feliciano and the entire M's organization, NWL champs. Preps first volleyball. Sheldon hands North Bedford their first league loss. Grace Nelson, 15 kills, 18 digs for the Irish win. 5A Churchill down North Eugene. Sierra Sharms, 26 kills for the Lancers. Girls soccer, Thurston and North Eugene, Churchill and Marist. Both games ending in draws. Grants Pass scored 3 goals the first half and defeated South Eugene 3-1. Marist boys put the chump on Churchill 4-0. Willamette Will High remains undefeated, slipping by Milwaukee 1-0. Former Duck Kyle Long is playing with a torn labrum in his left shoulder. Former Beaver all 5'6" of Jaquiz Rogers, now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So we're still getting to know Dakota Prukop, the new quarterback with the Ducks. Players probably doing the same. But what do they think of the Montana State transfer? Receiver Devin Allen weighs in.
Obviously, he's been here a little bit longer than Vernon was when he showed up, so he knows the offense pretty well. Has a lot of respect from all the guys, too, so he can command. Has a good commanding presence out there on the field, and he can run the offense pretty well.
He does run it very well. We'll see if he runs as much as he has the first 2 games at Nebraska, hoping for a full season of health for Mr. Prukop. Wake Up Call Sports, brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News Time 8:24.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, conditions on the cooler side. Temps right now in the mid to low 40s. Light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 under clear skies. Light haze from a couple of wildfires. As we move into the afternoon hours, we're looking at mostly sunny skies dominating once again. High pressure still in control over the region, but we are starting to see changes in the weather pattern. Now we will reach highs into the upper 70s to a few low 80s out there, and the sunshine will last for the next few days. But starting Saturday night into Sunday, we're tracking a massive storm system over Alaska, and the data suggests it may be headed this way. We're going to keep a close eye on it for you. At this point, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies Sunday with a 40% chance at showers. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Tom here at Max Muscle. You've heard about all the amazing flavors of Max Pro, and now the wait is over. S'mores. The new flavor of Max Pro is in stores now. The perfect high-protein, low-carb, no-sugar shake. Come on in, give it a try. Max Muscle on Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
I'm Jeremy. And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call, the one means no matter what the problem. From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7. Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season. Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
The best window sale in Oregon just keeps getting better.
Discount Windows Final 99 sale.
Thousands of overstock windows on site, including Ply Gem windows.
Factory first, overstock windows, just $99 each.
Or less.
Why less, Vic? $99 is an amazing deal.
Lee, the lowest prices on overstock is one reason we're Discount Windows.
You're good, and so is this sale.
Discount Windows, Highway 99, Junction City, open 7 days a week.
Get stoked on your next stove or fireplace insert at Midgley's. Get zero-interest financing on Yodel, Valor, and Blaze King on approved credit. When Midgley's installs your wood or pellet stove, they'll throw in an accessory bag and your first chimney cleaning for free. That's over $250 in savings. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Our customer-friendly parking lot is located behind our store. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire.
CCB 161946. See store for posted details.
They say I'm a bad kid.
A charity case. A troublemaker.
Worthless.
There are more than 3 million children in America's child protection and justice systems. Kids who have been abused, neglected, traumatized. Kids who act out. Kids facing the worst situations you can imagine.
They say I'm messed up.
A drain on society. Just a stupid mistake.
For their safety and others, some of these children have to be removed from their homes, separated from their families. They're at the mercy of an overwhelmed system.
I don't think I'm a lost cause.
I'm just a kid.
Youth Villages believes that no child is a lost cause, not a single one, because a stable, loving family can help any child succeed. And we have an 80% success rate overall that proves doing whatever it takes for children is the only thing that works. If you agree, find out how you can help at youthvillages.org.
So maybe we should have Mr. Benavides, the general manager of the Eugene M's, to this conversation about sleep and the importance of getting good rest. If you didn't know it, you missed sports there. The NWL champs, Northwest League champs. Sleep is important, and you know what also is important is getting good for the money. And one thing that I've been very impressed with is that they do everything they can over there at Sleep Train to get you into the mattress, okay? And then they have some exciting promos and some campaigns, but they're saving you money, but also getting you really good. They've gone out there and scoured the mattress world to get you the best mattresses out there. So the things that they have, the mattresses that you will enjoy if you take a test lay and go experiment, are going to be the best in the business. And the great thing about Sleep Train is that they aren't going to put anything out there that they have not researched and looked at and kind of gone through each and every. And you think, okay, technology and knowledge about a mattress in 2016, that's a pretty big deal. Everybody that works at Sleep Train goes through their own little educational process. And it's not so little, because the mattress in today's day and age is technology. Talk about a movable base. If you're not, being able to answer any and every question, you really shouldn't be in business, and that doesn't happen at Sleep Train.
So head on in, find out how they do business. You're going to be a happy sleeper for sure. Sleep Train, you'll find them in Corvallis, Eugene, Albany, and Springfield, and tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you.
You'll find us at home, at work, in the car. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
8:30 News Radio 1120 KPNW. All right. It's 5, 4, 3, 2. He might be having difficulty negotiating that telephone. We were on with Alan Benavides, who is over the moon, talking about the Eugene M's baseball team, having been a fan since, the 80s when I was in middle school. It's a pretty big deal. And going through the record books and seeing everybody that's gone through, not just the Eugene M's, but the Northwest League. I mean, Joe Madden, Ozzie Smith, some of the biggest names in baseball played in Eugene. Not at PK, but maybe at Civic. Last night, I wonder if he lost, he ran out of battery. We were on his cell phone. Last night, they won it at home. And we were just talking about, off air, how much of the season was accomplished at PK. I mean, if you are a fan and went to more than one or two games, there's a good chance you saw some pretty, for one thing, some pretty good baseball.
Hello.
All right, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
But also some good players. I didn't hang up on you. I put you on hold.
No, he hung up on me.
All right. Well, take that. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I can't. Where were we? You told me to hold the thought. I can't remember what it was.
We were talking, and I was talking about this on the air, as far as all the good things that happen here. It's not like you had to do it on the road. You did it at PK.
Oh yeah, everything, the whole thing, man. It was huge moments in our season, and to have the biggest moment happen here at PK in front of that crowd, I can't, and our owners in town. It was I can't even. I was just talking to my mentor, Chris Jones, who's the GM in Lynchburg, Virginia. He called me before just a couple minutes ago, and he's like, "What were you doing?" And I'm like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Man, I can't even remember. Like, I can't even." At one moment, I remember thinking, like, "Oh God, we're gonna lose. Oh God, it's 2-1. Oh God, they got bases loaded. Oh God, like." And then I remember, our closer walked in, and that's probably when I kind of settled down, like when Wyatt came in, there was this moment of like, oh my God, we got this. And I went up and I wanted to be on the field. I wanted to rush the field. Like, Jesus, our manager, was like, Alan, you are rushing the field if this happens. And I kept telling him yes, because I know that's what he wanted. But, when I felt like we had this, in the top of the ninth, when our closer came out there, I was like, oh my God! I walked up to our owner, Dave Elmore, who's owned the team since freaking '81,
yeah.
And And I just, that was his moment, and I just wanted to hug him. And he's 83 years old, and I was, he picked me up. He's 83 years old. I'm 220 pounds. How do you pick up a 220-pound man?
Adrenaline. So he might be the answer. Who did you want to win this championship for the most?
Oh, our owner, hands down, not even a question. Dave Elmore. He's a man. I love him. It's so awesome. It's so awesome, Rob, to say that who I work for, my boss, the guy who owns this club. It's probably, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of clubs, a lot of GMs, a lot of players who are like, oh man, they're cheap, they suck, this and that. He gives me the leeway, the leverage, everything to run this club how I want, how I see fit, do the promotion, do the beer batter, spend money on the players. Like, he's just like, be a good community member. Like, that's what he's about. And to do this for him, his last team to win it, he's 83. For him to be here, to be in Eugene, to see it happen, for him to, Mike Ellis, our league president, wanted to give me the trophy. I'm like, that's not my trophy to hold, that's his trophy. And man, it was special. That was probably the most emotional I've been in a long time. Like, it was unreal. It was unreal. Have you
had a phone call from the Cubs yet?
Yeah, we've had, I don't know, probably had 3 this morning, a couple last night. Yeah, I mean, Jason McLeod, Jared Madison, Theo, everybody.
You talked to Theo?
Yeah, I left me a message this morning. I'm going to call him back later. It was 6:45. I'm a little upset. I didn't get it, but.
By the way, we're talking to Alan Benavides of the Northwest League champion Eugene Emerald squad that just had an incredible season. One thing that I thought was interesting in the RG article, the amount of mention of Eugene as far as the players and just and you think about these guys were here and they're spending the majority of their schedule of their day playing baseball, so they don't really have a chance to go out there and meet the people and see Eugene. But there was some heartstrings involved in the community.
Yeah, as soon as they got here, man, we talked to them about how important this club is to the community, how long we've been here, the history, and in that communication, it was about how long it's been since we won, and how it's about development. Look, at the end of the day, it's about development, but at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's about developing winning baseball players and winning baseball teams, and the Cubs are all about that. So when we got good and we were winning and we had that win streak and we clinched the first half, that's when we started talking about, hey, it's been this long. It's been 41 years, and they knew it mattered. They knew that we cared about it. They knew that it meant something to this community. They knew it meant something to us, and the players loved it. We spent a lot of time, we spent a lot of money making sure that these guys feel like they're at home. I understand these guys are only here for a few months. I understand a lot of these guys came from Dartmouth and Cal State Fullerton and all these other schools, and they're from all over the country, and they're only here in Eugene for a few months. But we spent a lot. We spent a significant amount of money and time and to make these guys feel like, hey, man, this is home. This is your club. And I said this really silly thing last night, and it's so cheesy and cliche, but we're at the bar last night afterwards, and the team's there, and I told these guys, this is really cheesy, but I remember saying this specifically, and it just came out organically, and I got up and I told the guys, I was like, look, our brand's built around this legendary legend, Sasquatch. I'm like, but you guys legends here from now on forever. We're going to have reunions 20 years from now, and because honestly, these guys, a lot of these guys may not go to the big leagues, but guess what? They won here, and they're Northwest League champions. And I know that for a fact that our 1975 team gets together every year, and one of them is our official scorer, George McPherson. He works for us, and he gets together every year with the guys, every year. And I just look at these guys, and I'm like, everybody's like hugging each other, and I'm like, guess what? We are going to see each other for a long time. We're going to get together. We're going to see each other. It's just fun. Like, I can't get over the emotion. I can't get over how important and unreal and surreal this is. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm awake right now. It's unreal. I'm really happy.
It's a conglomerate of emotions from Alan Benavides. So, hey, we talked to the Eugene Generals coach earlier today, and we were talking about his future. What about you? I mean, what's your aspirations? I mean, would you like to parlay this into something, on a bigger level?
I get that question a lot. I've turned down 3 really big jobs recently. I turned down a couple jobs on the East Coast. Probably one of the biggest franchises, the Frisco Rough Riders. They asked me to take a couple years ago, take over that club. Probably the biggest. They're probably like the Yankees of minor league baseball. Playing Dr. Pepper Ballpark, and I mean, it's an amazing franchise, huge, ridiculous, $80 million stadium, and more money. Doesn't matter, honestly. I don't care about it. I love Eugene. I turned it down. I like being here. My son loves it. It's a great place to live. People care about this community. I love the Northwest. Being a kid from LA, East LA. I mean, really, I'm not going to, it's the ghetto. I love it here. There's no reason for me to leave. I don't, everybody goes, oh, when do you leave? And I get this question all the time, and I'm like, I'm going to leave eventually, but it's not going to be for another probably dozen years, I hope as long as my welcome's, as long as I'm welcomed here, I'm staying. I'm not leaving, honestly. I swear to God. I love being here, and it's a great place. It's a great place to live, and I love this team. I love being here. I can't tell you how much. I mean, like I said, I've turned down jobs. I've turned down other opportunities, and my opportunity is right here in Eugene. I love it.
Well, I want to say thank you for infusing some spirit and some good times into the baseball, because the things that you guys have come up with over there, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. You never know what the M's are going to come up with, and more importantly, I appreciate the fact that you take and return phone calls.
Man, I appreciate the fact that you call me. I sit here, and there's a lot of teams that struggle with like getting attention and whatnot. But you know who like the MVP in my opinion is this season is you guys, the media. I think you guys get a lot of flack for whatever. But I mean, I understand it's only minor league baseball. It's not a big deal. But you guys called me. I called you. Let's get people to the ballpark. You guys cared. And to see that crowd we had at every playoff game is you guys helped us do that. The community helped us do that. The awareness, people caring, it was ridiculous. In Everett, look, great market, no disrespect to the people in Everett, but to have less than 1,000 people for a playoff game, and we're getting 3,700, 3,800. Our manager, everybody's like, "What the hell, Al? This is unreal. This is this." And real quick, and I know I'm taking too much time, but this is real. Most minor league teams lose money in the playoffs. They lose. They can't draw. It's hard. It's hard to draw people because football's in season. Kids are back in school. Right. There isn't enough time to promote. Yeah. But you guys helped us do it, and to see everybody come out the way they did, brother, man, I'm telling you, that was unreal. That atmosphere at every playoff game for a minor league game. I mean, this team matters. This community, it's unreal. I mean, it was. I hate to use the word magical, but it was like, God, just being in that atmosphere last night and seeing everybody there. It was emotional. It was. I mean, literally goosebumps on my arm. It was awesome.
I've never seen you this worked up.
It was awesome.
All right, so I know a lot of the players. I know Jesus is gone. Is there any kind of post-celebratory event that we need to talk about?
I mean, not that I know of. I mean, okay. Honestly, I don't plan that stuff. Look, I bought champagne for Monday, okay? Bill Minahan over at Northside Liquor, I called him, and he called me. God bless him. He called me and goes, "Hey, Alan, we got to get ready for champagne." And I'm so superstitious. I was like, "Oh, my God, are you kidding me? I don't want to." But you have to plan, right? You have to plan. And I'm like, yeah, give me 100 bottles. And he gets them, and I tell my staff, I only told 2 people. I'm like, put them in the fridge, hide them. I don't want anybody to see them. I bought this W flag, right? The flag the W, like the Cubs use. I gave it to Sluggo. I wrapped it up. Nobody knew I bought it. So I don't know if you saw pictures, but Sluggo was running around with the W flag and the players were holding it. Nobody knew we had it. I mean, I know it's small, stupid little things, but those, I didn't want to be presumptuous that we were going to win. But in the event that we did win, I wanted to have the W flag. I wanted to have the champagne. I had shirts made. Mackenzie Solon, they gave me. They printed our champion shirts. Those things. I'm like, either we're wearing these shirts, or some really lucky kids in Nicaragua are going to be wearing some awesome 2016 Emerald Championship shirts. But we won, and we planned all these things out. And and when you talk about planning and party, those are the only things I planned. I didn't plan like something today. I couldn't do those things. I'm too superstitious. But I knew that if we did win, I needed to make sure that we had the best champagne celebration, and I needed to make sure that we had shirts. I needed to make sure that we had.
Well, congratulations.
A couple little things, but
hey, Alan, we got to cut you loose, but congratulations. We can tell that you are worked up, and what a magical season. I hate to see it end, but it ended the way it should have ended. So, way to go.
Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it, Rob. Thank you, guys.
Alan Benavides with the championship team, the Eugene Emeralds. Rolls off kind of nice, huh? 844.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Bayer agreeing to buy Monsanto in a deal valued at $66 billion, winding up 4 months of talks to create the world's biggest supplier of seeds and pesticides. It adds a new layer of complexity for antitrust officials already reviewing tie-ups across agriculture. Looking at stocks this morning, equities are gaining, rising from 2-month lows, led by gains in Apple. Samsung has come out with a stopgap measure to prevent its Galaxy Note 7 smartphone from overheating. The company will push out a software update that caps the capacity of the phone's battery at 60%. For now, the update is only available in South Korea. It's unclear if or when Samsung will push out updates in the U.S. Sales of halal food prepared according to Islamic law are surging, and it's not just among the fast-growing Muslim population in the U.S. Adventurous millennial foodies are embracing it too. Overall, from restaurants to supermarkets, halal sales are projected at $20 billion this year, up by 1/3 since 2010, according to the Islamic Food and Nutrition Council of America. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
Even with the greatest real estate we've seen in a decade, do you realize that 20% of homes go pending and then fall out, which ends up netting you, the seller, less money? The reason? You hired the wrong real estate agent. If you want a great price and have a great experience, hire Harpole Homes with Keller Williams Realty.
Fact, not all agents are created equal. When you sell your house with Eric and Jeanette's team, you get thousands more dollars in your pocket. With the extra money the Harpoles net you, you can take a vacation, pay off debt, or put more down on your next home.
How did the Harpole Homes do it? Negotiating, marketing, and their exclusive certified pre-owned home program. When you hire Harpole Homes to sell your house, they pay for your home inspection up front to take care of the issues to ensure your home stays sold. It's one of 182 steps they follow to get your house sold for top dollar.
For your free information package or to schedule a free consultation, call them 541-286-3030 or check them out at harpolehomes.com. Sell your house this summer with Harpole Homes with Keller Williams Realty. 541-286-3030.
It's Spa-Timber at Three Rivers Casino. And we've got all the hot and bubbly giveaways you are dreaming of. That's right, we are giving away 11 DuraSport Cypress Spas valued at $2,249. Earn entry September 1st through the 30th in Florence and Coos Bay. Drawings will be held in Florence September 18th and 25th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and September 30th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Visit threeriverscasino.com for details. Then, attention all music lovers, Ziggy Stardust will be playing his guitar once again at Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence. That's right, this September 16th and 17th, we will host the phenomenal tribute performance Space Oddity, featuring David Brighton as David Bowie. Tickets start at just $14.99. Reserve your seats now by visiting threeriverscasino.com and experience the genius of David Bowie once again. Relax in luxury and relive the best of Bowie at Three Rivers Casino Resort, because things are luckier here.
Yesterday we were talking about if you have a puppy, you get a new dog, something like that, that they're always tracking stuff through the house and, leaving stains pretty much everywhere they go. And it occurred to me, kids are pretty much the same way. So if you got kids, you got pets, and you've got a carpet, then you might want to consider Zero Res. Now, if you're one of those people that has sensitivities to chemicals, you'll like Zero Res because they're quite a bit different than the other carpet cleaning places. They're not bringing in a bunch of shampoos and a bunch of unpronounceable chemicals. Essentially, what they're bringing in is empowered water, and you're like, what is that? All right, so, little physics here. When you take water and you run it through an electrolysis process, it actually changes the pH of the water. It's still water, but the pH changes. It actually increases it in its alkalinity. So what they do is they run it through the electrolysis process, and lo and behold, it lifts stains. Then after it's removed from the electrolysis process, it goes back to just being plain old inert water. So what's evaporating from your carpet isn't a bunch of weird chemicals, and you're not going to get that film that you get with shampoos and different chemicals that are left on your carpet once they dry, which, by the way, attracts more dirt. So give Zero Res a call. Find out why more people are turning to Zero Res. And during this month, just tell them that Bill or KPNW suggested you call. Call them, and they'll give you 15% off all their services in 3 rooms, or if you want to book 5, you get 20% off. 541-9880. That's 541-988-ZERO, or just Google Zero Res of Eugene.
Wayne County, Oregon, and the nation. Hear it here every day on the Wake Up Call. Holloway in London and News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Back at the microphone. Look who's here. It's Denise Gazelle, the president here in the greater Eugene market of Pacific Continental Bank. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you back in the studio. And you bring a different guest. Every time you come along, you bring like a lackey of some sort with you.
Well, I need a lot of help.
So who is today's minion?
Erin is with me. She's one of our marketing gurus that works for Pacific Continental Bank and also works in our communications department. So she's here to help support.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit this morning about building an inclusive and employee-engaged workforce. You guys are really known for having a really solid system of doing things. How important, or why is it important to build a workforce that's catered to the idea of employee morale?
Well, in my mind, it's critical to the organization's success. However, beyond that, if you think about employees and their morale, and what pulse that gives within the organization, it really drives employee satisfaction or team, right? So I know you were just talking to Alan Benavides, I think is how I pronounce his name, and you think about what that organization's been able to accomplish this year. And the idea of team or spirit or fun and morale. So in my mind, morale.
Do you do hot dog nights at PCB?
I don't.
You don't do free hot dog night, huh?
We don't do hot dog nights, no.
Okay.
But we do want to celebrate. And that celebration filters and resonates within the entire organization, because we all know it takes an entire team of people to really create a lot of success and accomplishment.
And that hopefully translates to a better customer satisfaction ratio.
Absolutely. A better client experience, a better employee experience. Transparency is so important. That, I think, really resonates and translates to employee morale. And it really allows for the various business units or departments to really engage with each other and learn how to build a rapport and learn to care for one another. So in my mind, it really fosters an environment that says we're all inclusive. The barometer within the organization is, in my mind, about the employee morale.
So do you get buy-in from the typically whiny, entitled millennials?
Now I can't say that all millennials are whiny or entitled. What I have found is that the millennials, in my mind, really want to know that they're making a meaningful impact and that their work is important and that their voices are being heard. They want to know that they've got mentors that can help to lead them, that can help to guide them. So millennials, in my mind, really want a lot of what some of the the older, more tenured employee population want. And in some regard,
they want free hot dog night.
They may want a little more free hot dog night, but they want to know that their work is meaningful.
Is that part of the reason why you guys down there are big into volunteering and kind of working on different projects in the community?
We are, absolutely. And, you know, what we're finding is that when we go out in our recruiting efforts, volunteerism and how a corporate philosophy or a culture plays a part in what is important to, in particular, the millennials today. So recently I was talking with a young gentleman who just came out of the 3 p.m. program over at the University of Oregon, and he was really seeking an employer who was philanthropic, who was community-driven and community-centric, and in his mind, that was very high on the top of some of the things that were important to him in an employer.
Yeah. The whole top-down thing, millennials don't like that.
No, well,
actually, most folks don't like it.
Exactly. Most folks don't like that. So if you think about meaningful work and you think about how and where you're spending your time, you want to know that you are part of the solutions, you're being included in the process, that you have the opportunity to voice concerns but also solutions. So really it's a team-driven environment that says this is where we are evolving, and it's important that they're part of that process. Buy-in's critical, right?
Yeah. It's funny, our boss always says that. Okay, if you're going to come to me with a problem, you need to come to me with a solution.
At least one solution.
Right, because he's not creative to come up with anything on his own.
He would like to hear your voice, is how I would suggest that.
Yeah, that's what you'd like to think. Other than what we've already talked about, what other strategies do you recommend for building, employee engagement?
Part of my philosophy is hire good people, get out of their way, and let them do their job.
God,
Right?
Management 101. Management 101. This is the honest-to-God truth. You hire your own problems. Or you hire your own solutions.
Hire good people, get out of their way, let them do their work, and support them in any way that they need you to support them.
It seems like a lot of people, a lot of businesses do this, that, okay, so we have this key position we need to fill, and everybody is sort of pitching in and doing extra stuff to try and make it all work while we fill this position. And so what they do is they go out and they have this manic job search, and it's like the first person that comes in and says, yeah, I think I can do that. Great, you're hired. And they shove them into it, and the next thing you know, you have either a minor or a significant disaster on your hands. How long, for instance, if I was trying to get a job with you, I mean, how long do you guys spend trying to fill an actual position, a key position?
Well, as long as it takes and is necessary to ensure that you've got the right person. And, we don't get it right 100% of the time. So the idea that once you identify that there's an issue or a challenge, you've got to be swift in working through that issue to either move that employee out and identify the right employee coming back in. So
out of curiosity, I know it's in front of our 15, but would you actually consider even hiring him?
I don't know. I'd have to really think about that first.
Yeah, you wouldn't want me in customer service, I guarantee.
I think I would. Yeah, I like your personality.
Oh, you're sweet. Listen to you.
You just
she doesn't know me.
Yeah.
She obviously doesn't know me. Denise Gazelle, she is the president here in Eugene of Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you both.
And thanks to the Minion over here for coming in as well. Anyway, it's 8:57. That's a wrap.
Hey, we'll see you tomorrow at 6:05 right here on 1120 KPNW. Make it a good one.
The best window sale in Oregon just keeps getting better.
Discount windows, vinyl 99 sale.
Thousands of overstock windows on site, including Ply Gem windows.
Factory first, overstock windows, just $99 each.
Or less.
Why less, Vic? $99 is an amazing deal.
Lee, the lowest prices on overstock is one reason we're Discount Windows.
You're good, and so is this sale.
Discount Windows, Highway 99, Junction City, open 7 days a week.
Sherry's Intrepid reporter live outside a local Sherry's. Excuse me,